Jenn and Julien, and you are listening to episode 16. Oh my God, guys, we are back.
Finally.
Listen, we've been gone for a minute, and that's okay.
For a long
But there's
minute.
a good reason for it.
Yes.
And
we just touched our hands right. It was so weird.
So awkward.
Because it's a different studio. We don't know what's going on.
And
Let
by
me go back to
studio,
frame.
we mean it's your apartment.
It's my apartment,
And can I put you on blast for just a second?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you?
You want to see my Iron Man?
Yeah. This is why Julien doesn't get laid. This would be the reason.
I have a second one.
Can you, which is
Look how soft it is.
Which is too many. I thought I saw a third one back here.
No, now you're just hallucinating.
No, I'm not.
You know what? Just for that, that'll be part of the show.
Fine.
We'll just put him here, little
Fine.
Tony, right there.
Yeah, that's not distracting at all.
Wait, hold on. Would you care to tell why we took such a long break?
Okay, there's a few reasons, right? So the biggest reason is we were working out
A deal.
A contract with a distributor. So we are official. We're like real people now.
That's it. We're a real podcast.
Yeah, we're real podcasters. This means that we can potentially make money.
True.
I mean, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I'd be for sure be down the line. It also means we have good audio forever. We won't have any issues with audio, all that stuff. If you could see the tech that we have right now,
we could show them.
Should we?
I think we should.
Okay. So.
Okay.
This is we'll go over that.
What is this?
Yeah. There you go. I have a roadcaster and everything.
All right. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the giant green screen that Julien uses for his auditions.
Oh yeah. No, but that was actually a great intro to talk about the other news, which is even quite big.
I don't know what you're talking about. And how dare you say that? How dare you say big?
Listen, break it to the people. Tell what the news is.
I'm pregnant. Yeah, I am real. Not just a little pregnant. I'm real pregnant.
Yeah.
So we are due in November. Not Julien and I, of course, but me and my boyfriend. They
actually agreed on the middle name being Julien.
Yeah, we did. So that's
Keller, Julien, Lammers. Actually, I don't know
do you even know my name? I don't know what is happening
Lammers.
right now. I'm the one who has pregnancy brain, not you.
Yeah.
It's not Lammers, it's Lammers. Are you shitting me?
Lammers. Same thing. I call you Den Lammers.
Anyway. So the last name is Keller. The baby's last name is going to be Keller. We're trying to figure out a first name.
Julien.
No, definitely not. Definitely anything but that. I would say.
Jesus is a really nice name.
It is a nice name.
Julien.
It's very French.
Yeah, Julien. There you go.
Julien. I'm not going to tell you what our choices are because I feel like every person. Yeah, for the first name.
I thought it was Keller.
It's not Keller. The last name's Keller. Who's on first?
I thought this was his first name.
I feel like I'm in Crazy Town right now.
Yeah, me too.
No, the last name is Keller.
Got it.
The first name we're not going to say yet.
Okay.
Just because
Julien.
I've made the mistake actually of telling a couple of people what I was thinking about for the first name. Do you know that one of my friends then named her puppy that name?
Oh my God.
This is why you don't tell anybody. And everybody has an association with it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I remember a guy from high school. He was really weird and his name was Paul. And
his name was Bart?
No, Paul. Like Paul.
Oh,
in
Paul?
French, Paul.
Paul. Like Paul.
And honestly, I can't never call my kid Paul because I just remember that specific weird kid from high school.
Yeah, I get it. We all have those associations.
What's one that like you really, there's no way.
That there's no way?
Yeah.
I mean, like Jamie.
Why?
Well, because that's my ex-husband's name.
There you go. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Or I'm sorry, your doll's attacking me.
Yeah.
Or probably a Mike because I've dated way too many Mikes. And I just have any bad experience that you might have with those kinds of. He's a boy, by the way. I'm having a son.
Yeah.
That should be known.
Honestly.
But here's what I think. I feel like naming a girl is so much easier because here's what I would have done. I would have named a girl a boy name because I think that's so cool.
Yeah, and also it makes her less sexy. Like it's like, oh, who are you going out with? I'm going out with Bart. I'm like, What?
No.
Like nobody wants to have sex with Bart.
No.
Or a girl named Bart. No.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking about whenever I was going through names. I'm like, nobody wants to say, ooh, can't think of a name right now.
Girl or guy?
No, for a guy.
Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene's picking me up, but are you gonna go out with Eugene tonight?
Eugene is automatically born
it's
95 years old.
I want a boy's name that's sexy.
Julian.
Is that weird?
Julian. I feel like
Julian
Jake's not
is
bad.
a sexy name. It is.
Julian.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Leon. I kind of like Leon.
That's Leon or Leon.
Leon. Yeah, Leon. But in French, it's Leon. I think it sounds so dope.
No, but in America, it's Leon.
Yeah. You don't like it?
Hey, Leon.
Yeah.
Get your ass down here. It's time for dinner, Leon.
It sounds like you're in the South.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So those are out. But yeah, we have our top two, and I'll just say that. And you'll know in a couple of months.
I can't wait.
I might not even know until I see his little face.
Yeah, maybe you'll see it. You're like, oh, you're a.
Yeah, exactly. You look like a. Yeah.
That's it. But yeah, that's kind of why we were absent for all this time. Jen's pregnancy, and then also the going back and forth for a production. We're super excited. We're gonna put them on blast. We are partnering with Hurrdat. It's
funny story about that. The very first call that we had with all these executives at Hurrdat,
to sign.
Julien says to sign. Yeah, Julien says, I'm really happy to be working with Hurrdat Media.
Yeah, I called him Hurrdat. I don't know why.
That's a good way to start out a relationship.
Hurrdat. But obviously they were super cool. They all laughed. So
they're a great group of
honestly, I just want to call them Hurrdat from now.
Yeah,
I love it.
We're super excited. I just want to hang out with them.
Really. Yeah, Hurrdat Media.
I know.
Sick. And then so for today's topic, we thought we would go over. Your pregnancy.
Let's dive right into the pregnancy, right?
Well, yeah, I think so. It's not because usually we have a very specific topic with usually sometimes a guest or maybe a specialist or something to talk, which we will. We have a bunch of people lined up. It's going to be great. I just felt like I sounded like Trump. Like it's going to be great. It kind of just sounds
all the superlatives.
Yeah,
I know. You don't
not making any political statement.
No,
just saying,
of course not.
I just sounded like
political podcast.
But yeah, hey, actually, I do have one question for you.
Okay.
And it's so you've already been married.
I have.
The last few podcasts we talked about marriage in general, and are you comfortable?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. And you mentioned you didn't really have any ambition to you weren't in a hurry to get married again. You could easily live your life without being married again.
I think I could easily live my life without being married again, as long as the commitment's there.
Yeah. Well, what's bigger commitment than a baby?
Exactly.
So the question finally is obviously not are you planning on getting married, but how's it been? Because I've noticed in the US, and it's always this, in Europe it's a little bit different, but in the US, it's like you're pregnant. They don't see a ring on your fingers. Like, oh, are you not married? There's still these kind of you're kind of having a bastard child.
Yeah.
I'm the product of a bastard.
Right.
I'm a bastard child.
You're a bastard.
I'm a bastard child.
Yeah.
I love it.
Julien loves being a bastard.
I'm a bastard child. But it's so prominent in the US compared to other places. So how is that? Did you get any weird
I feel
comment?
like there's less stigma now than there was, before.
Yeah.
Plus we live in Hollywood. So I always tell people, I'm like, we're doing it the real Hollywood way. I'm having a baby out of wedlock. You know what I mean? Whatever. It happens. Surprisingly enough, because I do extra. I'm a correspondent on TV, and so a lot of people, once we announced in People Magazine, a lot of people reached out and they're like, congratulations. And the people who, the people I don't know, never really said anything. For the most part, it's people I know who have been asking. So you married? You going to get married? Is he going to pop the question? Do you want to get married? Would you, almost framing it as if this is something that I'm waiting for,
Okay. And are you waiting for it?
I'm waiting for a ring. I told Jared already, I was like, just because we're having a baby doesn't mean we have to have this shotgun wedding right away. Yeah. It's not the traditional way. To be honest, I haven't thought twice about the idea of us not being married and bringing a kid in the world, and how is he going to feel about everything, because there are all kinds of non-traditional, families right now. There are kids who are getting raised by same-sex parents. I mean,
it's not traditional.
There are kids who get raised by single moms, single dads. You have the surrogate be a part of the family too.
Yeah.
Adoption. It's like there's no right way of doing it.
No.
I'm not necessarily too worried about it. Although my crazy uncle did say something about it on Facebook, which is funny because that's where all crazy uncles live, right? Is on Facebook.
Yeah. Commenting on the post. Yep.
Exactly. So I think he said something like, where's the, are you going to get married? Are you going to make it official? Because, that's what the baby deserves, to have two parents who are married. And then all my friends were just like dogs. They just jumped.
Oh, they jumped him?
Jumped on him. Yeah. They said, oh, stand down, old man, which is true. I don't know.
Also, like who said that? Who said that this is how, humans.
Who said that's how it should be?
Yeah. And who said this is the natural way? Who said that's how it's church.
I know it's a curiosity, so I'm not necessarily offended when and it's usually my older friends who will ask about it. So I'm not ever really offended. It does get under my skin a little bit, just because it's like, well, do we have to be married?
What do you think about it?
As long as the love's there, as long as the commitment's there, I don't see it a need to be married. I don't see it. I would rather take my time and, make one big decision.
Mm-hmm.
And not let that cloud my decision about marriage. I want to obviously have a wedding the right way and make it special, and and do it the way we want to do it, as opposed to do it because it feels rushed or because we feel like we have to. That's not the way to get married.
You're talking about commitment, right? And usually people will say, well, marriage is the biggest commitment and kids are the biggest commitment. So you say that you don't mind having a kid as long as the commitment's there. What is that commitment that you're talking about? Or is there no specific way to show it? Is it just how you feel in a relationship? Is it just the fact that you're raising a child with a man living in the same roof? Is it maybe you two have a joint account? Is it maybe you guys are actually building a business together?
Yeah, I don't really. I think it's just, we're here because we want to be here.
Yeah.
And I told him at the very beginning, I said, just because we're having this child together doesn't mean we're going to be together forever, just so you know. And I say that because the last thing I want him to feel is, well, we're having a baby together, so now we have to be together. I don't want that to become like, they call them anchor babies.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a kid and have the relationship feel forced in any way, because that's not good for the kid either. And when my son gets older, I don't want him feeling that way at all. Like, your parents felt like they needed to be together because you're here.
Because of your hair. No, I'll tell you, your parents are still together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when my separated, obviously it's weird when you're a young, like when you're a kid. But I look back at it, I was like, man, it was so much better. Both parents are way happier 2 years after the separation or whatever. So you actually have two happy parents instead of having.
So your parents never got married?
They never got married. My dad really doesn't really believe in marriage. Yeah. He's the one who says a child is the biggest commitment. It's the biggest commitment. It's my biggest. It's the way for him to show. Okay, I'm willing, like I want to try this with you.
Yeah.
Right. For him, it's that, because regardless, like right now they're not together, my parents. And I was just in France like last month, and I was in Lyon, in my city where my dad lives, and I was with my mom. And 32 years later, after I'm born, we had all dinner together. So you're still
But
linked.
Does that happen often, or only when you come to visit?
No, it doesn't happen often. It's just when I come to visit and I have a short amount of time, usually I'll do a few days with my mom, a few days with my dad. But because it was such a short period of time, I was like, I really want to have dinner with all of you guys, with both of you. So we had dinner. It was a blast. It was awesome. They have a good time together, and it's fun. But no, they don't hang out outside of when I'm not around. But that's what I'm saying.
When did they separate romantically after
when I was
born?
8.
When you were 8?
When I was 8, roughly, yeah.
So when you were 8 years old, like mentally, when they separated, I'm sure,
Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Regardless if they're married or not, it's still rough because it's an ending of something. It's a breakup. And then you as the kid start to feel all kinds of ways.
Yeah, but so what's funny is it was rough at first, and then you kind of get used to it. And my mom got a new boyfriend at the time that I absolutely loved. And they were together for like, I think 2 years. And I loved that guy. He was awesome, constantly playing with me, super present. Yeah. And when they separated, when they broke up, it felt like I was going through the separation again with my dad. So in a sense, though, yes, of course it's not fun, but in a sense, it kind of feels like, I think just when you're getting used to something and then it breaks, it stops, it's still hurtful. Mm-hmm. So I felt as hurt when she separated from her boyfriend and when she separated from my dad.
Okay, so it wasn't necessarily like that parental relationship that you missed. It was just the idea of you get used to this person.
Yeah, you
develop, feelings, familial feelings for them, and then all of a sudden that ends. And it's
but also my dad. I mean, I was my mom was mostly in Lyon, but my dad was just traveling so much.
Yeah.
So already I didn't have my dad around a lot. He was present like financially and whenever we needed him, but like he was gone, I'd say half the month. So it's not, and I wouldn't see him like, it's not like 2 weeks. You've gone like 4 days, here 2 days, then back, leave for a week, then back for 5 days. So it was a lot of like, I didn't have a full like stay at home mom that goes to work with him. We see him every dinner and all that stuff. So it was a little bit different.
Simple. I mean, still non-traditional. And I don't think there's a thing wrong with that.
Well, no, because then I'll look at my cousin. Yeah. And his parents were married and they got divorced and it was a nightmare.
Ugly. Yeah. I mean, that's something else too. It's like, what's the alternative? You guys stay together and, for the sake of the baby, which so many couples do this. And that like, they're miserable together. And the kids are very perceptive. Yeah. They know when something's up, like, God love my parents. But they've been together since they were 19 years old. They're almost 70. And
that's pretty amazing.
But I wouldn't say that their relationship has been 100% perfect. No relationship is.
No.
But I knew that. I could pick up on that.
Yeah.
I sensed it right away. I knew that something wasn't right.
The fact that they make it work, that they made it work however difficult it was.
Yeah.
To me, is still pretty dope.
And that just goes to show you, like, relationships are, especially long-term relationships like that, are rarely perfect. You're rarely going to find that same kind of like starry-eyed love, decades later, I think. Yeah. That's a whole like marriage conversation.
Yeah, but I wonder if your parents would have stayed together all that like this long, if they weren't married. Or if it was just them, because a lot of the arguments that we get when I talk about marriage with someone is like, yeah, but when you're married, you're kind of committed. You kind of have to make it work. Whereas when you're not married, it's easier to say, you know what, I'm this is not working. I'm out.
And I'm the kind of person, if you start to put up boundaries and parameters and like, well, a lifetime with you, great. Then it's like, yeah, great. But now you start to feel a little claustrophobic. And I don't know if that's just me or if that's other people out there, but I start to feel like the last thing I want to feel is I have to be here because there's some kind of, nebulous like rule that I have to stay.
Yeah.
It's like the bird. I think it's called the bird cage theory.
Yeah. If you leave the thing open, they leave,
they
stay.
You can come and go as you please.
And they tend to stay.
If you make a good little nest. In other words, like if you keep the magic there, if like everything that you need is right in that cage to survive, you won't have a need to go out and fuck other birds.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, sure. That's a great. You should write poems.
Yeah, really.
This sounds this is very poetic the way you did it.
Yeah.
It's throwing a little philosophy in there. The bird in the cage.
I'm a regular T.S. Eliot over here.
If the bird is open and the cage, it'll fall. But if the nest is here, it will stay. However, he's not going to go fuck other birds. You're like, wait, what?
You're like, what? Where'd that come from?
What are you talking about? No, I agree. And I also feel like eventually we need to have like somewhat of a special marriage specialist. I have so many marriage questions.
For sure.
Just like, one question is like, I wonder if marriage success is different within countries.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's different. Well, it definitely is in the Middle East, I would say.
Yeah,
for sure. But that's a different podcast. That's a different conversation. I mean, this is like it's more. We're talking about traditional versus not traditional when it comes to like having a baby. And I can tell you that, like, the older I got, the more I thought about freezing my eggs and the whole IVF thing. And should I do it? A lot of my friends have done it already.
Yeah.
Just
Apparently it's a bitch
because
though. You gotta stab yourself a
you do
lot.
have to stab yourself, or you could get a friend to stab you. Either way.
That sounds fun. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
I would have let you stab me.
Of course.
Just so you know.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And you would have
Just
taken
one.
way more pleasure in that than you should. So I looked into it and I realized it was, and I went to get the test and everything done. Like they measure your follicle count or whatever it is, and basically how fertile you are. And I was dropping. I was like on the downswing of it. And my OBGYN said, either you do it now or you might just have to take your chances and see if it works out. And at that point I was single and I hadn't met anybody who was like worth the shit, to be honest, like to have a kid with. So I decided not to do it because of the expense and take my chance. And if I got pregnant before 40 years old, I decided then great.
Yeah.
If not, that's okay too. Cause I was kind of ambivalent when it came to kids. Fast forward, like, I don't know, was this 8 months later? And was it 8 months later? Yeah, because Jared and I had been dating for about 7 months.
And then you got pregnant after 7 months?
We messed up once.
Yeah.
We were very careful, very careful. I know that's all it takes, but literally, what are the chances? Like, what are the odds of that happening? So anyway, we messed up once.
Hey, did you? I want to ask a personal question. Did you take any Plan B and stuff?
I did. I did.
I keep hearing of Plan B not working. I keep hearing of people saying we took Plan B and it didn't work.
So I didn't like the idea for some reason of like walking across the street to Walgreens and like getting a Plan B. And I didn't have anything else that I needed. Like I didn't need like toilet paper, like, cosmetics or anything like that.
Delivered.
It would have literally just been me walking across the street, buying a Plan B and facing the shame of the guy behind the register and then walking my ass back across the street. So
there's an app for that. Literally, they deliver you stuff.
And I did, Julien.
You did the app?
I did the app.
What's the name of the app again?
Amazon. I ordered it off of Amazon.
Oh, no way.
I did. And 2 days later, it arrived.
So you got that fake Amazon knockout.
So it was not Plan B. It was like a generic Plan B.
Plan A.
It was like Plan. Yeah, exactly.
Plan A.
It's a Plan A.
Amazon.
Well, yeah, right. So I forget it was like next step or first step or whatever. It was some kind of step.
First step of having a baby.
It had
take
the
pill.
Step in it. Just so everybody out there knows, don't trust that brand of birth control or emergency birth control. So took it. And then a few days later, I started feeling a little weird. And I was like, I feel tired.
It's crazy how fast it goes.
Yeah. And I was like, I feel like I took 2 naps that day and I was like, what the hell? So I called Jared over and I said, we should, he's an ER doctor, by the way. So he already knew as I was telling him like all my symptoms, he was like, And I said, and then, I didn't start my period because I was crampy all day, but I didn't start my period. And like, I'm super tired and like, what's wrong with me? And he's like, we should probably take a test. So we go across the street and see, this is the irony of it all, right?
You end up
the idea that I had to then walk across the street, take a pregnancy test, and then walk back, took it. And 2 minutes, the longest 2 minutes of my life. And I had never seen that word before on a pee stick. And my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
I literally stared at it for a good 5 minutes. And then I started laughing and then crying and then laughing again. And I called him over and we just like hugged and he was great. I mean, he really was. He was like, he was perfect about it.
Also, I feel like as a doctor, like he knows how to, it's his job is to care for
and
people.
He was just like more or less like, I'm here for you. And he kind of let it be my decision. We went to Mexico and we, took a little trip together and did some soul searching. Like, are we ready for this? What do we want to do? Personally, as soon as I saw the pregnant on the stick, I was like, I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to say no to this.
Yeah.
Because, and I had wished my whole life, I was like, I never want to be put in that position where I have to decide to have a baby or not to have a baby, when I see a positive result. Because I knew that my only decision was going to be keep it, obviously, because I just can't imagine. I can't imagine, I just feel like too many stars had aligned, and, it was very easy for me to get pregnant miraculously. So we just went for it. And
I feel like what always like fascinate me about you is you always were raised so traditional, but somehow you've evolved to be basically like a French woman, like non-traditional.
Yeah.
Like you got married, the whole thing, you did it, then you don't like it, then you're super independent, you're a baller, you make your good money. You're like, even, you have a kid out of wedlock, you're fine about it. Then you tell your baby daddy, you go and tell your baby daddy, is like, by the way, just because we have a kid doesn't mean we're going to stay together forever. I mean, this is crazy,
I mean, so that's why it's funny. Cause like everybody thought like, are you okay with the idea of not getting married right now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm more than okay with it. I just want to take like one big life decision at a time. Cause I feel like it would be, anything else would be super overwhelming. And that's what we decided to do. And now I have acid reflux every day. So,
but you can eat whatever you want. No,
I can. It's a little freeing.
It's the baby. It's not me.
It's a little freeing. Yeah. I'm very uncomfortable with the idea that I've gained. Oh my God. I mean, I'm definitely breaking 150 for sure. Just to give people,
but you'll give yourself like a month and then get a trainer and you'll be fine.
Pre-pregnancy. So it's true. I mean, I get it. But like what a lot of people don't talk about is just this. You have to understand, it is a mind fuck and a half.
I'm sure.
When you're stepping on the scale, you're looking in the mirror and like things are bigger. Like my boobs have like tripled in size. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but now I've realized I don't want big boobs. Mm-hmm. I don't like them. I'm going to give them back. Like I don't want them anymore. I mean, everything's expanded. I don't fit into any of my clothes anymore. It's a downer. Yeah, but it's a big Debbie downer.
I know, but it's short term and eventually. So it's funny. There's when I used to do CrossFit like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There's this one of the trainers. I still remember her name. Her name was Maddie, and she was dating or married to one of the other trainers, and she was always like the less masculine out of all the trainer. Of the like less beefy, but she was nicely, like her body was very nice. Like it was, you could tell she'd worked out. She had a little bit of a little shoulder, but not too much. Not like the real athlete. Like
she was like sculpted, but maybe not buff.
No, not too buff.
Yeah.
And she got pregnant, and I remember her doing all the CrossFit workouts, probably like no joke, 3 weeks before she gave birth. And then she gave birth, and then 3 weeks later, she was back at the gym. And I think a month and a half after her pregnancy, I remember seeing this because then I hadn't seen her in a while because we would work out at different times. I seen her, and she had the exact same body as before. A month after her pregnancy, she had abs, everything. And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, but she's an athlete. She's an athlete. And I know, I mean, the last of my remaining abs are now drowning in my uterus. So like they're disappearing fast. It's like the fucking Titanic. Like it's sinking quick. And I hope that I'm going to get back to where I was before. And I'm going to try.
You will. You got that Peloton.
I get the Peloton.
Keep the classes together.
Ways. The whole breastfeeding thing. I know you don't know much about this, but I know that you have to like.
I think I've
keep your calorie count up just to be able to sustain the milk supply to feed the baby. And it's like, do I want to breastfeed or do I just want to like focus on?
I think you got to breastfeed a little bit. I keep hearing that it's just better immune system wise for the kid. I was in breastfed and now I'm sick every other day. No. Like I'm in the air and I get allergic to something and then
I wasn't breastfed and look, I'm
really
perfect.
Oh, maybe. My sister wasn't breastfed and she was, and she literally would eat dirt and nothing happens to her.
Exactly. See, it doesn't matter. And I know just, from dating a doctor.
Yeah, he'll know how.
He tells me, he's like, he was never breastfed. He's brilliant. He's fine. He's well adjusted. No allergies, whatever.
Oh man, it's so nice to have a doctor at home.
Yeah, no, it is. And he says that a lot of doctors will advise to breastfeed. He said, but honestly, it doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't.
That's amazing.
The differences in breastfeeding versus not breastfeeding are so minimal, versus like the benefit, right? Like it gets the dad involved in the process. If you don't breastfeed, like if you do the bottle, then the dad can wake up for the feedings.
No, but the dad can also just kind of milk.
You're disgusting.
Milk you, get the thing in the bottle and just.
It's not like you bring up like a pail and it's like an udder where you like. No, that's not how it works.
You just do the pumping thing. So you pump it out. You store it in the fridge. I've seen movies. I know how it happens. Okay. And then eventually he grabs the thing. He does the to shake it, and then he. And
there are also bottle warmers and stuff.
There you go, and then he does it. Maybe we should bring Jared on so he could tell us about like pregnancy.
I actually think that'd be a great idea.
You know, I'd love to have him, especially like I spoke on him once. He seemed really nice. I think it would be awesome to just have like a doctor's opinion on pregnancy and also from a male point of view, like as a male, as a doctor, like for him as a doctor, what would you advise a male partner to do? Oh yeah. I guess there's nothing but just be here.
No, he feels bad already. He's like, I want to be more involved. I'm going to want to be more involved. Like I'm going to want to get up, you know, with you every 2 hours when you're getting up to feed the baby and comfort the baby and etc. You know, the explosive diarrhea that's bound to happen. I'm sure that's a thing. He'll be able to do all that, like changing the diapers, cleaning up, swaddling in the morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. It's a bonding experience all the way around.
We should get him on.
We should. He can also tell you about all the stuff that he's found stuck up people's butts, by the way, because that's those are interesting.
Oh, because he's at the ER, so he gets really the people that they have to come in urgently,
and they do.
Okay, yeah, we should definitely have a little X appeal doctor edition.
Yeah. I think I don't know what he's allowed to talk about or whatever, but
wait, just doesn't name.
Yeah.
I'll write up. I have a bunch of questions. You talk about your you get like the whole marriage stuff, and it's funny because these are like usually things that as a guy I never thought of, but now that I'm in my early 30s, these are like questions that come up a lot.
What, the marriage?
Yeah, marriage and like because I was always growing up.
Do you get pressured? Like, are your friends? Do you find that your friends are now like locked in relationships?
Yeah, some of them are
moving toward Babyville.
So I have a few, right? So I have my buddy who got married and then they got pregnant, and then I have my other buddy who she got pregnant first and then they got married, not because of the baby, for like paper reasons, right? So like immigration stuff. But I don't. If you ask me at 18, do you want to get married? My answer would have been straight up no. Absolutely not. Never.
Okay. Well,
never want to get married.
What 18-year-old is like, unless you live. I don't know. I guess maybe, hey, whatever.
I mean, I guess 18 and even 18 to 25, like maybe there won't be like, oh my God, yeah, I can't wait. But I'm sure, at least I've noticed, I guess in the US, it's just something that it's like, whether you want or not, it's something you will do.
Like in the future,
something you will
about,
do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course I'll get married eventually.
In the far distant future, and then I'm telling you, you blink, and 20 years later, the future is like right in your lap.
But I was always me. No, I don't want to get married. I don't see why. I don't understand the point of it. I don't understand why. What's the point of getting married? What's the point of getting the government involved? What's the point? Like, I can just have a baby. That's a bigger commitment. Me not wanting to get married doesn't mean I don't want to be faithful. Doesn't mean I want to build a home. Doesn't mean I want to maybe create a business, have a joint account. All that stuff is just the act of like signing papers and having lawyers involved. That never into it. And it's funny because as I get older, I start to not necessarily shift, but I'm way more open about it than I was.
To the idea of getting
open and married. So like this point now, I'm at a space where like I don't think it's necessary to be married before having a kid. Like I don't think that's necessary.
No, I don't think so either.
However, I definitely now can see having a kid, and then down the line, 1, 2, 3, 6 years down the line, saying, I think now we should get married.
Yeah. But and that's what I'm saying is like that decision would be independent of having a baby.
Yes.
I'm definitely open to the idea of getting married again for sure, but it would be independent. It's like one doesn't necessarily have to happen before the other.
But before, it was a straight up, absolutely not, never. So I find it funny how as you get older, things change.
What do you think has changed? Yeah, you're older now. You're much older. You're much older now.
Yeah. Much older.
But what do you think has actually changed in terms of like your frame of mind?
Well, there's a few, I don't know what changed. I think it's just seeing how things are done. I'm also seeing how I've only known unmarried life, right? Especially my parents being unmarried. It didn't work out. So part of me feels like I don't want to make the same mistakes. So maybe I shouldn't follow what they did and do something different and get married. I think also conversations with people that really do believe in marriage, right?
Yeah.
I think also the fact that marriage in a way has evolved a little bit. It's not the traditional marriages before. I think now you can get married and still have both your life, both your career. You know, it's a lot of times too, marriage has been brought up in like a negative way. Every time we hear, it's like, oh yeah, she got married to him. She took
like
half
the
his
old
money.
Ball and chain. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, I would just mention how I think it's funny how things kind of change. So who knows? Maybe in 5 years where I'll be like, you know, because also the counter argument is, okay, well, if you're down to have a baby with this person, and then you say I'm down to get married down the line, what's preventing you from getting married first and then having a baby?
Right.
Valid argument. I just don't like being imposed a way of doing things.
Right. You don't like being forced into anything. I also think that, you know, dating and trying to find the right, you know, lock for your key or whatever it is exhausting. Key for your lock. Well, in your case, it'd be a lock for your key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that it's exhausting sometimes trying to find that right person. And eventually you just realize when you have something good, then you hang on to it.
Yeah.
And
with the whole like social media stuff.
Because you and I both know that dating in Los Angeles is a nightmare. And the good ones, the really good ones, are few and far between.
Yeah.
And when you find it, hang on to it. You don't have to marry it, but
you don't have to marry that thing.
At the very least, see the value enough to want to make the commitment.
No, I agree. And that's, so I think last time before we stopped recording, I started dating someone, and I'm still with her.
Good.
We're about to hit a year.
Oh my God.
You know, we're about to hit a year and it's going great. And that's exactly what you said. You know, especially if I work on the side too, and I work in nightlife on the side, and I see so much trash. And every time I'm there, yes, I see some like good looking girls and everything, but every time I'm seeing that, and it just keeps reminding me of how much my girl is so like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas I feel like when you're younger, you're more about, it's like, oh yeah, but there's plenty others. But no, it's like, you like want to keep your options open, and like, you know, you always have like that one eye looking somewhere else. No, and it's true. And it's nice to have somebody you can count on. Nice to have all, you know,
it's
find
nice
somebody you value and
share your life with somebody, and have that person who you know that you can call at your darkest time and when things are going great. And like that person, if they're the first person that's on your mind and the first person you want to call,
there you go.
Do what you can to keep them.
Maybe we should do a podcast where I bring my girl and you bring your boy, and then we have the two exes.
It'd be like a double date.
It'd be
like a double date ex appeal podcast. I like that idea.
I don't know if that would be weird.
I don't know.
Not for us, because we're done this. No, maybe for them.
For them? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
I think that we're both dating cool people.
Yeah, but I'd rather get your man in first to ask a question. I'm gonna start writing up some questions. Oh my God.
I mean, he's got some stories.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think, wait, what else? Yeah, that's, you know, this is what kind of we wanted to do on the first episode back.
Yeah. So this is like a new and improved ex appeal. With, you know, an addition. So I guess from here, you know, we're gonna
so there's gonna a few things that we need to
guests that we're gonna bring on and get into it there. But
basically, this first episode, back, we wanted to do, I was Exappeal 2.0. We wanted to do kind of like, getting back to it, talking a little bit about what's been going on with you and everything. But then in the future, we have a matchmaker coming. He's going to talk to us about a lot of like New York matchmaker and all about the dating questions, specific dating questions. She's a matchmaker for men. So she's also a dating coach, only helps men and finds matchmakers.
She only helps men.
Yeah. And she has a reason for it, which she will tell you why.
And okay. Yeah.
The main reason is because she feels like as a woman, she can help men to tell what women wants.
Yeah,
right.
It's better than a man telling a man what women want.
I think her either husband,
they'll be like they want like money and
no, but like
security.
I think either her boyfriend or her husband is a dating coach, and he only coaches women.
Okay.
Because he's a man, so he's like, this is what men want, which makes so much sense. Anyways, so if you guys have questions that you want to ask a female dating coach, so I'm assuming the men who are listening, let us know because I can write them down and ask her. We have a few celebs coming.
We do.
We have a few celebs coming, which we're going to keep that confidential. More people of the Kinsey Institute.
Yeah, so we are a partner with the Kinsey Institute, which is the nation's leading sex and relationship research center. And we have a bunch of experts who are at our disposal. That's the beauty of it. And they come out with new, fascinating studies. Like it seems like every week they're coming out with something new. So So we're in the loop there too.
We'll have that. And then I think for now, for the next few episodes, we'll be here.
Yep.
Then eventually Jen will be at home nursing her baby. So we'll be remote. So I'll be here. You'll be at your house. But luckily,
I'll just do the podcast with the baby on the boob, and then, you know what I mean. And then we'll just be talking, and then
and then that's it. And then
look.
That's gonna be a good look, yeah. and then we'll figure it out. We might start getting into a studio down the line. I think it'll be probably better.
So big things are coming.
Yeah. So welcome back to Exappeal 2.0.
Yay.
And that's it.
Yep. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
A Hurrdat Media Production.